There are moments in history that slip quietly between the cracks. Events witnessed by ordinary people, recorded in forgotten logs, whispered about in late-night conversations, and then buried. These are encounters with something that moves without sound, without warning, and without explanation. Tonight, we revisit the stories they never intended for us to hear, stories of silent visitors. Across continents and decades, the descriptions remain eerily consistent. A craft that moves like it's rewriting physics. A presence that feels intentional. A silence so complete it feels unnatural. Witnesses describe objects that hover without disturbing the air, accelerate without sound, and vanish without trace. These aren't isolated incidents. They form a quiet thread woven through history. Farmers in rural fields. Pilots in the night sky. Fishermen alone on the ocean. Hikers deep in the desert. People with no connection to each other, no shared motive, no reason to fabricate. Yet their stories align with uncanny precision. Some describe a feeling of pressure in the air, as if the atmosphere itself is reacting. Others mention a sudden stillness, like the world is holding its breath. Many report the same strange sensation, the sense of being watched by something that doesn't behave like anything we know. It's as if these visitors follow a script of their own, one we're only beginning to understand. And the deeper we look, the more we realize that these encounters aren't random. They seem purposeful, almost coordinated, as if someone, or something, is studying us quietly from the edges of our world. These events don't just happen in isolation. They ripple outward, affecting the people who witness them in ways that linger for years. In the fall of 1978, off a quiet coastal town in the Pacific Northwest, a fisherman named Elias Turner set out before dawn. Elias wasn't a man prone to exaggeration. He'd spent his life on the water. He knew the ocean like most people know their own backyard. That morning, the sea was calm. The sky was clear. Nothing unusual, until the water beneath his boat began to glow. At first, Elias thought it was bioluminescent algae, something natural. But this glow wasn't green or blue. It was metallic silver, like moonlight trapped beneath the surface. Then, emerging from the water with impossible smoothness, a perfect sphere rose into view. No ripples, no waves, just a silent ascent. Elias described it as watching me, like it was curious. The sphere hovered just feet above the waves. Its surface wasn't reflective like chrome. It was more like liquid metal, shifting subtly as if responding to the environment. Elias felt something he couldn't explain. A pressure in the air, a hum he couldn't hear but could feel, a sense of being observed. For nearly 30 seconds, the sphere remained motionless. Elias said it felt like time had slowed down, like the world around him had faded into the background. He remembered the air feeling heavier, almost thick, as if the atmosphere itself was reacting to the presence of the object. He said he felt a strange, calm wash over him, mixed with an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. Then, without warning, it shot upward, not fast, not loud, just gone as if reality had blinked. Within hours, officials arrived. The report was taken. The explanation was simple, a weather balloon. But Elias knew what he saw. And he knew balloons don't rise from the ocean. For years afterward, he refused to fish in that part of the water. He said the ocean felt different after that day, like something beneath the surface was awake. And every so often, he claimed he could still see faint silver light shimmering below the waves, just for a moment before fading away. He never told anyone else, but he believed the sphere wasn't alone. He believed something else was down there watching. He also described strange dreams that began after the encounter. Dreams of standing on the deck of his boat, staring into the glowing water, unable to move. Dreams where he felt the same pressure in the air, the same silent presence. He said the dreams always ended with the sphere rising again, hovering in front of him, waiting. Elias believed the dreams weren't dreams at all. He believed they were memories, memories of something that wasn't finished with him. 2 decades later, in 1996, a pair of hikers named Maria Lopez and Daniel Rhodes ventured into the Mojave Desert for a weekend trek. They were experienced hikers, familiar with the terrain and equipped for the harsh environment. On their second night, just after sunset, the desert temperature dropped sharply. The sky was clear, the stars bright. Everything was still. Then Maria noticed a faint distortion in the sky, like heat rising off asphalt. But the air was cold, and the distortion was moving. Slowly, a triangular craft, the size of a small house, drifted silently above the dunes. No wind, no vibration, no sound. Daniel described the air around it as thick, like the atmosphere itself was bending. The craft's surface was dark, almost matte, absorbing starlight instead of reflecting it. Along its edges, faint lines pulsed, not lights, but something more organic, like veins carrying energy. As they watched, the craft rotated slowly and deliberately, revealing 3 circular structures underneath. They weren't lights in the traditional sense. They didn't illuminate the ground. Instead, they glowed inward, like eyes adjusting to darkness. Maria felt a sudden wave of nausea. Daniel felt pressure in his ears. The craft wasn't just present, it was affecting the environment around them. The air felt charged, almost electric, as if the craft was generating a field that extended far beyond its physical shape. Then, in a single motion, the craft tilted and vanished horizontally across the desert. No acceleration, no buildup, just instant disappearance. The hikers reported the incident. Their story was dismissed. They were told they had seen experimental aircraft. But Maria insisted, no aircraft moves like that. No aircraft feels like that. For years afterward, she refused to camp in the desert again. Daniel claimed he would sometimes dream of the craft, not the sight of it, but the feeling it gave off. A presence, a curiosity, a silent observer. He said the dreams always ended the same way, with the craft hovering just above him, waiting. But their story didn't end there. Months after the encounter, Maria began noticing strange lights in the sky near her home. Small, distant glimmers that moved in ways aircraft shouldn't. She said they appeared only when she was alone, and only for a few seconds at a time. Daniel reported hearing low hums at night, hums that seemed to come from nowhere and fade just as quickly. Both believed the craft had marked them somehow, as if the encounter had opened a door that couldn't be closed. And they weren't alone. A retired park ranger in Nevada reported seeing a similar triangular craft drifting silently above a canyon, just weeks after Maria and Daniel's encounter. He described the same pulsing edges, the same eerie silence, the same sudden disappearance. He said it moved like it was alive, like it was thinking. He never filed an official report. He said he didn't want to be laughed at, but he never forgot what he saw. For every documented encounter, there are dozens more that never make it into official records. Stories shared quietly among friends. Accounts whispered in confidence. People who saw something they couldn't explain and chose silence over ridicule. A rancher in New Mexico who watched a glowing orb drift across his property for nearly an hour. A truck driver in Utah who saw a triangular shadow pass overhead, blocking out the stars. A group of campers in Colorado who witnessed a silent object descend behind a ridge, only to rise moments later and vanish into the night sky. A pilot in Montana who reported a metallic disc pacing his aircraft for nearly 10 minutes before shooting upward and disappearing. A family in Oregon who saw a cluster of small spheres hovering above a forest, moving in perfect synchronization before scattering in different directions. Different people, different places, same patterns, same silence. Across all these encounters, one detail remains constant: the silence that follows. Reports vanish. Witnesses are discouraged. Explanations are offered that don't match the evidence. It's not chaos. It's not confusion. It's a pattern, a deliberate one. Someone somewhere wants these stories forgotten. But the witnesses remain. The patterns remain. And the encounters continue. What links a fisherman in 1978 to hikers in 1996 isn't just what they saw, it's what happened after. The way the air felt heavier, the way dreams changed, the way official explanations never fit. These details are rarely in reports, but they are always in the witness. And they are why these stories refuse to stay buried. If these visitors aren't ours, if they aren't natural, if they aren't random, then what are they? Observers, explorers, something older, something patient, something watching us from just beyond the edge of understanding. Whatever they are, wherever they come from, one thing is clear: the silent visitors have been here for a long time. And each encounter brings us one step closer to the truth they never wanted us to see.